Okay, so we have been talking about S3, and we just talked about bucket policy and static website hosting and versioning and all of that, right? So all along we have been interacting with S3 using this AWS Management Console. That's what we have been using. So we created the bucket using Management Console. We created the objects, or we uploaded the objects using Management Console. We kind of we emptied the bucket using Management Console. We deleted objects using Management Console. That's where we did everything. But I've been saying that S3 is one of the most resilient, high available, and secured service out there, storage service out there in the world, right? So what good does it do if I cannot programmatically interact with it? And there is no reason for not doing it, because as I've been mentioning, the power of S3 lies on the core REST API. It has a solid REST APIs built on. So when you interact with AWS Management Console, when you create a bucket, behind the scenes, it's actually leveraging those REST APIs. It's calling those REST APIs, create a bucket, delete a bucket, empty a bucket, or delete an object, create an object, upload an object, all of that, okay? Behind the scenes, this AWS Management Console is utilizing those REST APIs, okay? So, but this is not fun, right? How can I interact with my REST APIs? My application, let's say I'm taking the same example. I'm working for a financial institution, and I need to be able to, my program, I mean not human being, okay? When my clients interact with me, I need to be able to provide them, when they want to see the monthly statement, okay? So I will take them to my S3. I want to store all of my statements in S3, okay? And I want to get the object URL and pass it on to them. How do I pass it on to them using secured way? We will talk about that later. And that's some other concept, but let's not worry about it. So my worry at this point is I need to be able to create these documents. I know I can dynamically create it. Currently, I'm storing all of them in our in my data center, but I want to leverage this S3. Okay, so I want to start putting it out there programmatically. How can I do it? Well, you can interact with it using AWS Management Console, as you guys know. And the another way is you can use the underlying REST API itself. Okay, you will be able to interact with the REST APIs yourselves. In fact, you don't have to go that low level. For most of the programming languages, they already provided you SDKs. So you just use your SDKs, and then you can interact with S3. You can create a bucket. You can upload an object. You can get the objects. You can do all of that. In addition to that, they also provided a command line interface. It's called CLI, AWS CLI. This command line interface is a utility, okay? It works both on Windows and Mac. Pretty much you install it, a thick client on your machine. Under the hood, it uses the same powerful REST APIs. But we don't see that. Using a simple commands like Unix-like commands, you'll be able to copy all of your files on your machine. Okay, like you have your whole project structure. You want to dump the entire website into that, because all of that you have it in your Windows or Mac machine, and now you want to upload it. You want to create you want to create a bucket and then dump all of that into that bucket. And you can even sync it from your remote S3 object to your local machine. You can even sync it up, meaning when you add a new file here, it will automatically get updated there, and then not automatically, but when you sync it, right, it will verify that the contents are exactly synced up. So if you have any files that are not an S3, it will upload it. And if there are any files in S3 that you don't have it in your local machine, it will automatically download it. So there is another mechanism called command line interface. AWS command line interface. It's simple utility. Okay. You can do that. And then finally, the most powerful one is SDKs. So this SDKs and command line interface and AWS Management Console under the hood, they all use this powerful REST APIs. So using SDKs, let's say you are building a Java-based application. They have a library out there in a Maven repository. You can go get that, and then you can write a simple Java code just to interact with your S3. Okay. So before we'll talk about all these 4 options. Okay. Before you do this, we need to understand this concept of IAM, Identity and Access Management. So let's talk about the Identity and Access Management for a second. There is a service here, a global service called IAM, Identity and Access Management. So this is where you will create the groups, you can create the roles and policies. So what are they? Users, you know what the users are. It's a simple users. They interact with these resources. And there are 2 kinds of users. One is human beings who need username and password, who needs to be able to log into AWS Management Console. The other kinds of users are programmatic users. Your piece of code, your Java file, your Java application is interacting with, your .NET application is interacting with, your Python application is interacting. That's called programmatic access. They also have a not username and password, but similar one called access key ID and secret access key. It's very similar to username and password, but so there are 2 kinds of users. Okay, what is a group? Group is nothing but logical group of users. That's all it is. Okay, you can create a group called HR, and then all the HR users can belong in HR group. All the finance department people, they have several users. Okay, all the finance users can belong to finance group. So roles, we will talk about that later when we talk about how can I attach a role to EC2. We'll talk about that later. But policy, as I told you, policy is an IAM policy, identity and access management policy. It is like a bucket policy. It's a JSON document that will have the rules around allow or deny who can and cannot access a particular resource. That's nothing but a policy. There are a lot of default policies out there. You can directly leverage them. So without delay, if I want to experiment with any of this one, I want to use my REST APIs. Let's start with that. I already have a bucket here right now. I already have a bucket here. Next step training, and then I have an index.html. I want to be able to fetch it using my REST API. How can I do that? Well, let's go ahead and create a user, and that user is a programmatic user. That's not a regular human being who needs access from the AWS Management Console. I want my program to be able to do it. So let's do it. So I don't have any users. Click on add user. I'll call this S3 user 1, for example. And then see here, you need a programmatic access. Do you need AWS Management Console access? So for programmatic access, you will get access key ID and the secret access key. They are kind of, username and password. Okay, you can use this this programmatic access. You can use your REST APIs or your CLI SDK. And You can also have an AWS Management Console access. You'll get user ID and password. You can, use that user ID and password to log into this. I did not select that because I don't need it. Programmatic access, click on permissions. Well, it's asking, do you want to add this particular user to a group, or do you want to copy permissions from an existing user? If there is a similar user out there, you can copy it, or directly attach these policies directly at the user level. You can attach policies at the group level. So I'll create this solid IAM policy for the entire finance department. I will put it to finance group. All the users in the finance group will get that permissions. Okay, I can also attach at the user level. I can create a group, no problem. Let's say these guys, are creating finance department, since we are talking about it. Okay, my group name is finance. Okay, and then next tags. Well, I don't need any tags right now. Let's review it. Sure, its group is finance. Let's go ahead and create a user for now. User has been created, and you need to remember this access key ID and secret access key. And this secret access key will not be shown again. This will be shown only once right now. This is the only opportunity. Okay, let's copy these two guys. This is our secret access key, and this is our access key ID. We need both of them to interact with S3 using programmatic way. Close it. Now go to S3 user 1, and he belongs to finance department. And what kind of permissions? He doesn't have any permissions right now. Okay, so he can't do anything. Okay, that's fine. I mean, at this point, he can do anything. Sure. So now, how can I? First, let's take this restaurant. I want to be able to get the content or create content using REST APIs, the underlying REST APIs. Okay, that's where the power is at. So I want to be able to get the content. So you guys may be familiar with the tool called Postman. So this is a Postman tool. Okay, I can throw a video out there how to install. Okay, it's a very, very simple. Postman is used to test your REST endpoints. Okay, so you can create a new request. You can do S3 get, and then you can create a collection if you want to save it. My AWS S3. Save to AWS S3. So I created a collection called AWS S3. Okay. And within that, I have an S3 get, HTTP get, and I have to give the URL. Well, okay, let's go to the bucket. Let's go to S3. And here we have a bucket called nextstep.training. And this is a static website hosting. And I want to be able to get it. So go to index.html. I will take this URL, right? I will take this URL. This is a specific object I want to get it. Go put the URL here and click on send. Hey, you got this. H1, my static website, welcome. There's nothing fanciness there. It's very, very simple, right? It's a public read access, guys. It's the same as your browser. Your browser is able to do it. Your Postman is able to do it. There's nothing fancy there. Okay, that's not the power of it, right? So what we will do is, let's create another bucket, and this guy must be a private bucket. Okay, only we will give access to certain people. Okay, I will show you how this user, this newly created user, the finance user that we just created, can get access to this. Okay, so let's go there, create a bucket. let's say finance bucket 2020. Yeah, because finance bucket probably must been taken by somebody. Block all public access, sure. Oh, it's available. Okay, we're lucky. So this finance bucket 2020 is available. So let's do let's create. This is a finance file only available for finance guys. Very confidential, something like that. Okay. I'll put this guy, and some details. Okay. Okay. So I created this finance details. Let's upload this guy. Upload it. Okay. And finance details. Let's go there. Access denied. Obviously, this is not a public file, right? So what we'll do now is let's go to IAM, Identity and Access Management. Let's go to our groups, our finance group, attach policy now, right? So we don't have policy. Now, you can start a policy from the scratch. You don't need to. Actually, there are a lot of policies out there. See this one, Amazon S3 read-only access. Okay, you can do this one, or Amazon S3 full access. You can even give this full access. Okay, so let's say read-only access. Let's start with that. And then you can click on show policy. It will show you effect allow, action S3 get, S3 list. You can do it on all the resources. Make sense? So we just created a policy and attached that policy. Of course, we did not create this policy from scratch. We leveraged existing policies, but we attached that policy to the entire group here, the finance group. Okay, these are the permissions. He has read-only access. Okay, and this particular user, our guy, our S3 user one guy, or we could have renamed this one to finance user one, but doesn't matter. This finance user belonging to the finance group, okay, he's getting read access through his group. Now what we will do is, now let's go to Postman. Now let's go to Postman, click on authorization, and here type select AWS signature here. And now you have to give your access key ID and secret access key. These are my previously used ones. So I'll remove it, and we should have, this is my access key ID. And this is my secret access key. US East 2, AWS region is US East 2, service name is S3, session token is optional. Okay, let's do a send. Let's see what happens. HTTP 200, let's look at the body. What's the response? Oops. Where is my...
Change the URL.
Change the URL. Thank you so much. Now let's go to our S3 guy. Go to finance bucket, and this is my object. I'll get this object URL. Let's change it. 200. Okay. This is a finance file only available for finance guys. Finance guys, very confidential. That's the content of the file. Make sense? Because you have used that user's access key ID and secret access key. So this is exactly how you are going to do it programmatically also. Of course, you don't have to know to this level. Your SDK will make your life 10 times easier than this. You never have to deal with the low-level REST APIs. You don't have to worry about it because you always use your favorite programming language and their corresponding SDK to do it, to interact with it. But this is exactly the lowest level. Does it make sense? And creating the bucket, uploading other objects, I will show you that using SDK. But I wanted to show you guys how it's all done. So you have to create a user here. Go to IAM, you have to create a user and create a policy. You can create a policy, specific policy. You can, you can go bonkers with it. You can allow, you can deny specific ones. You can write conditional logic. You can do anything there. The IAM is like another. Your IAM policy is like another programming language. You can be as specific as possible. Okay. So you can do that. Attach to user. Users, all the programmatic users will get access key ID and secret access key. Use both of them in your REST API or your SDK, and then call it. Any questions at this point?
Is there another way other than using key and access key to access REST endpoint?
What's that? Sorry,
Is there any other way to access the REST API other than not knowing the key value pair?
Is there any other way? So if I have to use REST API, is this the only way? This is the only way. Okay, you have to have your access key ID and secret access key. So because you're calling it from outside, right? This is the only way. But internally, if your EC2 needs to access S3, internally also the same rules are applicable. But internally, you can leverage this concept called roles. So you can create a role, okay, attach some policies even to the roles, and then now you can attach that role to your EC2 instance so that you don't have to use your access, you don't have to copy your access key ID and secret access key into your EC2 instance, okay? You can leverage that using the concept of roles. But for your programmatic access, this is the only way.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So this is very good. Okay. Now what we will do is let's do the same thing using another approach called
Venkat.
CRI. Before we look at SDK, SDK is the most powerful one and most obviously most useful one for all practical purposes, right? So let's look at AWS CLI.
Venkat?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Babita. I have a quick question. When you create the users, do they have to be in the same region? Or can you have this from different region?
Very good point. So IAM is one of the very few services that are global, that are region agnostic. Look at it here. As soon as I go to IAM, it's changed it to global. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a global service. Unfortunately, S3 is perceived as global because of this reason. See, when I move to S3, also this is in global. Once I change it to EC2, for example, it will go back to appropriate region, right? When I change it to S3, it's changing it to global. So it's easy to falsely think that S3 is a global service. My bucket is, is all over. But no, when you create a bucket, you are creating a bucket within a specific region, guys. I want you to understand that. Okay, but to answer your question, IAM is a global service.
Okay.
Venkat, I have a question. So currently we manually created a user, right, for the finance group. So let's say I have 50 users. Is there any way that I can programmatically?
Oh, absolutely. You can absolutely use your the same concepts pretty much exists everywhere. You can use your SDK to create users and all of this. Okay. And there are a lot of other programmatic ways also. There's one thing called cloud formation template. Using cloud formation template, as I told you, the entire infrastructure pretty much can be built with a script. All the resources, all the users, all of it. So yes, this is definitely not the only way, and obviously by no means this is the best way. Okay, but the simple way, that's all for now. So AWS CLI. So AWS CLI, let's use it. So this is a command line interface. So command line interface, as I told you, it's a simple utility given by Amazon to interact with S3 objects. It's a simple command line utility. Okay, so you have to install your AWS CLI. Click on installing the AWS CLI. Yeah, for all good reasons, go with the CLI version 2. It comes with all the prerequisites, so you do not have to install something else. It used to be the case that first you have to install you have to install your Python first. Okay, but now it already comes with it. So click on Windows. So look at the prerequisite and go ahead and install it. So this is an MSI file, download it. Okay, and install. So once you install it, okay, once you install this in your Windows, pretty much what happens is go to your home directory and then click on AWS. So you have this command called AWS that's readily available for you. Okay, so and within AWS you have another command called S3. You have a lot of commands there, and we are only talking about command line interface for S3. So AWS S3. So within S3 there are sub commands. Okay, so let's say AWS S3 LS. So of course it's saying access key ID you provided doesn't exist. But this is not the experience you will get it. Once you install your CLI, the first thing that you want to do is AWS space configure. This is the first command that you want to enter. So you have to configure your CLI with the appropriate access key ID and their secret access key. Okay, so we have a access key ID. This guy, it's asking for the access key ID. Enter. Secret access key, we have it. Enter. And then default region name is US East 2, sure. And default output format is JSON. Very good. So what it does is, once you configure AWS, you go to your home folder. You can go to your home folder. It will create a folder called .aws. Okay, and then go to credentials. So this is where it will store your AWS access key ID and secret access key. It will store whatever you just entered, right? It is stored here. So from here onwards, this is a one-time exercise. From here onwards, you do not have to give it. So now do a AWS S3, let's say, give me all the buckets. LS command. LS command is what you use to list all the buckets. Okay, you have a finance bucket 2020 and next step training. So let's say I want to interact with one bucket here. How do I do that? Let's say, give me all the contents. AWS S3 LS, and then I'll give the bucket name. So the bucket URI, this is how you have to give it. Okay, S3 : / and your bucket name. My bucket name is next step training. Hey, it's giving me, when I give that, so it's when I issue a ls command, S3ls command on this particular bucket, it gave me the 2 files, logo maker 60lwx.png and index.html. Okay, and let's say, so let's say I want to copy this command, right? Let's say I want to copy the contents of index.html. I can do AWS S3 copy S3:/ next up training, that's the bucket name / index.html. It will copy. Okay, where do you want to copy it? My local folder. It downloaded the index.html and it copied it here. See this one? Make sense? You can copy it, and you can also recursively copy it. How about this? This is a public bucket, right? So let's go to the private bucket. AWS S3 copy S3:/ and then where is our bucket? Finance bucket 2020. Oh, sorry. What's the file? First we'll do S3ls. Okay, there is a finance details there. So I want to copy this guy. So you can write a simple script. Go to my local folder, downloaded, finance details. See this one? Finance details. This is a finance file only available for finance guys. So yeah. And you can, of course, you can create a bucket. You can do AWS S3 make bucket and S3:// that's the, like your HTTP:// right? And let's go for one more bucket. Finance, or let's do a HR bucket 2020. Let's try that. Oh, look at that. It's saying access denied when calling the create bucket operation. So under the hood, it's calling the same REST API, same REST powerful APIs. And it said that, sorry boy, you don't have access. So what could be the reason? What could be the reason for this?
You don't read.
The policy is read policy.
Exactly. So this IAM policy that's attached at the group level, finance level, if you look at it, S3 read-only access. So let's attach another policy called S3 full access. Let's go ahead and give the attach S3 full access. Now try the same command. Didn't change anything. Okay. We attached full access. Let's give it a second. There you go. It just took a second, but now it's a bucket created. HR bucket. Let's go to S3. There you go. HR bucket 2020 has been created. Make sense? So what you can do now is, since you have a full access, you can copy. Let's see. I'll create. Let's see. Locally, let's say I'll create a file here. Let's get a video file from my.
Why is that HR bucket is made as public by default?
What's that? HR bucket, will HR bucket be public by default?
Already, yeah, it's already created as public by default.
Yeah, it's you can restrict it actually using CLI also. By default, it's it will say objects can be public by default when a bucket is created from CLI. Okay. But that's not the case with objects though. Your bucket will be created in a way that objects can be public. But when you upload an object, by default, that object will not be made public. So let's check that. So what I will do is, I'll show you. Let's go to I want to create one file. Let's create a new file. This is a HR file, right? HR users.txt. Okay, has all HR users. Wonderful. So HR users, guys. Now, what we'll do is, let's go ahead and do a copy. AWS S3 copy from here to, what's the bucket name? HR bucket 2020. Oh, copy. Okay. What's that file? HR users txt. So copy this guy into, yep, it uploaded HR users.txt. Now you can refresh this guy. There you go, HR users, this guy. Okay, and click on this file and take a look at the permissions. See this, public access, read access has not been given by default. Of course, you can grant that one also. Okay, so now, yeah, that's it. Now, once you have that file, go to file, go to this particular file URL. Now go to your REST endpoint, and you can even ask for it. Give me the file. This is the HR file, has all users. But you try accessing this guy from public, access denied, because this is not for public. Because this user happens to have S3 full access policy attached to it, he was able to do it. He was able to read it. He was able to upload it. We were able to create a bucket. All of that we were able to do it using CLI. And by no means this is complete CLI. In fact, you don't need to this level for the certification. All you need to know for the certification is these are different ways of interacting with the S3. Okay, but obviously I will not leave like that. I will make sure you get the full content. Now, we are not only targeting for certification, we want to be cloud architects, so you need to understand it. So for the full AWS CLI commands, please CLI commands, you can go through this one. There are a lot of CLI commands, especially S3, right? Where is that S3 guy? Yep, go to S3. So look at all of this one. There is a sync command. Sync command is another useful one. Okay, this guy. It will automatically sync between your S3 bucket and your local. Okay. Any questions? And I don't want to go any deeper than that, because that's all. For the certification perspective, this is all you need, but understand it. So install it, play with it, so get full familiarity of what CLI is. Any questions before I move on to SDK?
For the new bucket you created, the HR bucket, so you haven't assigned any security policy, right? How did he get the access?
Am I the only one not able to hear? You're pretty far, I think.
I can't hear it. No.
So the new HR bucket that you created, so you haven't assigned any security group by default, right?
Okay, this concept of security group comes into picture only for EC2.
Oh, I mean, so policy.
Policies.
Bucket policy, sorry.
Yes. So bucket policy has not been defined. You have to define bucket policies.
But did it copied over from finance group, the existing bucket policy?
Nope, it did not. It doesn't
But
do
the
it.
key pair that you generated, that's only for the finance group, right? The finance bucket.
We'll talk about, okay. So go to permissions, go to bucket policy. So Revant, right? Who's speaking? Revant?
Yeah, yeah.
So Revant, and for everybody also, we did two things here. So let's not get confused with both of them. One is bucket policy. Let's understand bucket policy here. Bucket policy is one way to define who can access my bucket, who can and cannot access by using S3 bucket policy. And that is inside the bucket itself, I will put a policy out there. I do not have to touch the global IAM if I know what I'm doing within the bucket. This is one way to restrict your bucket, or one way to grant appropriate policies to the bucket. Let's understand that first. Okay, now, are we clear here? Let's only talk about the bucket policy. Let's not bring IAM or policy group, any of that. Are we clear here, Revant?
Yep.
Okay, now let's go to number 2. Now, we have identified another way of granting permissions to your bucket using global IAM policy. Okay, so there is a global service called Identity and Access Management Service. This is not specific to S3, not specific to EC2, not specific to any service. This is across the board. For every single service, the security can be centralized into IAM, the global IAM concept, and that's a very good way of defining it, including your bucket policies. Put all of them into IAM, properly put them in global IAM rather than using bucket level policies. For simple scenarios, absolutely, you can absolutely use bucket level policies. But for complex organizations, keep all of your users in IAM, create the appropriate groups for them, create appropriate roles for those. Roles are applicable only if you're talking about Amazon resources. We'll talk about that later. But create all the users there and categorize them into multiple groups. Create your appropriate IAM policies and attach the policies at the group level. This is a good practice. It's a good practice. Do not attach the policy at the user level. You absolutely can technically, but not a good practice. So attach them at the group level. Your finance people will get access to the finance buckets, not just buckets though, including EC2 instances and your every other service out there. You're putting all those rules, attaching them nicely to the group. Okay, all those users will get it. Now, what we did, let's understand here. We created a user called S3 user 1. Okay, he belongs to finance department, finance group. This is group. Okay, but what we gave finance group, we gave a policy. We gave S3 full access policy. We gave S3 full access policy to the finance group, meaning everyone in S3 user 1 will have full access to this one. S3 full access, it's not specific to bucket. Bear that in mind. We did not give a bucket level policy. We gave complete S3 full access. And that means he'll be able to create any bucket. He'll be able to read any bucket contents. He'll be able to delete any bucket content. He'll be able to do everything with it. Understand your point, Revant, very rightly, that he's a finance guy. He's able to create HR. Totally fair point. Very fair point. Okay. Ideally, he should have gotten full access only to the finance related buckets. I'm with you. But just because we gave full access, S3 full access, that is why he is able to create that. Now, does it make sense?
Yep, it's clear now.
Everyone. Wonderful. So yeah, I will throw some homework here there. So how can you create? I'll make it a little complicated. So create a policy, create an IAM policy that will give full access to a specific bucket. How do you do that? Well, there is only one concept called every single resource within Amazon will have this concept called ARN. Get that ARN and give complete full access only to that resource. I'm giving you a hint there. So I'll provide the homework and then you can do that, work on that. Okay, now that's about, we talked about REST. We talked about the low-level REST APIs. We talked about S3 CLI. Let's talk about the most important one and the most critical one called SDK. So SDK, essentially, it takes the same fundamental REST APIs, but they just wrap it with your favorite programming language as a library and put it out there. So in Java, they created this AWS S3 SDK. So Google for this AWS S3 SDK, and then you can even throw Maven there. Okay. So your mavenrepository.com. So grab the latest one. Click on this guy. So I'm giving a Java example, but you can do the same thing with C# or Python, any other programming language. Okay, very simple. See, in Java case, they have this Maven dependency. So they created a library and made it available to the world in the form of Maven repository. So this is their GAV coordinates. This is your group ID, com, Amazon AWS, and artifact ID is AWS Java SDK S3, and this is my version number. I will throw in this dependency in my POM XML in Java application, and it will automatically, magically download this whole library. In the case of Java, this library is called it's a jar file, Java archive file. Okay, I will get it, and then using the classes inside that, I'll be able to interact with it. It's that simple. I totally understand. Not everyone is familiar with Java here, and you do not need to know this for example. Okay, but this is, I'm telling you out of my curiosity, because this is exactly how you interact. This is how your real world applications, when you're working on a web application in C#, this is exactly how your web application will create the documents and upload it into S3, or download that documents from S3 and pass it on to someone else now. Okay, makes sense, guys. So let's copy this one. So what we'll do is, I have this Eclipse. Actually, this is my favorite editor. It doesn't have to be, you can use your favorite editor. So it's a Spring Tool Suite. So I use this one. So it's easy to create a simple Spring Boot based application. This is only for Java. Don't get scared if you're not familiar with Java. You don't need it. Okay, and do it in your favorite programming language. And just for fun, do the same thing with AWS S3 SDK C#. There you go. It's the same stuff. Install from NuGet. AWS SDK core. Oh, this is the one. This is the guy we are using 3 months ago. Let's look at this beta. Yeah, So this NuGet is Maven equivalent, is what I'm assuming. If any C# guys here, you can correct me, but okay, let's go back. But essentially, it's that easy. Okay, so go back. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a simple, very simple Spring Starter project, meaning Spring Boot project. Spring Starter project is nothing but a boot project, and I'll call this as S3 Java SDK. Sure, that's fine. S3 Java SDK is fine. Next, finish. This is my project name, and this is my POM XML. POM XML is where I define all the dependencies. So here, put an additional dependency there. Com Amazon AWS Java SDK S3. Now I must have gotten my SDK S3. Sure. Go to Maven dependency. You should be able to see your AWS Java SDK. You should see somewhere. See this one? AWS Java SDK jar file, and this is the package. Okay, these are all the packages. So within this, you have this S3, and see this one. I think we'll use this Amazon S3 client builder. This is the kind of builder pattern it uses to kick off our process here. So let's do it without delay. So let's create a simple Java class. I'll create simple S3 demo. Throw a main method there. Okay, so what you will do is Amazon, what was that? Amazon S3 client builder. So this is how you use it. S3 client builder dot, sure, we can do a new instance with the standard set dot. What options do you have? They have a with region. You can do a with a specific region. See this one? With region, and there is a probably enum called regions dot US East 2. Okay. Dot, let's say build. Okay. Dot build, and this dot build will give me Amazon S3. This is just a simple builder pattern. You don't need to remember it. It's just Amazon S3, and you got your S3. That's all. So it's a builder. This Amazon S3 client builder is a builder pattern that will give you Amazon S3, and this one has all the methods to kind of create bucket, get the bucket contents, give the list, all of that. All of this is good, but remember, we have to give, when you programmatically try to access this S3, you have to use two things. One is your access key ID, and the other one is secret access key. So you have to set both of them as an environment variables. In Java, you do that as a system.set property, right? But in C# and other programming languages, you have your own mechanism. Somehow you configure them as your environment variable, and you kick off your Java, C# or Python code. It's very simple. So in Java, I will show you how to do that, and we can even Google that. Okay. The reason I'm Googling is because you don't have to know anything. You can. AWS has such a great documentation that you can build this in 10 minutes in any programming language. I wanted to show you that. You don't think that this guy already knows something. Okay, you don't have to know anything. Is where my that's where I'm taking you guys. Okay, So AWS S3 environment variables for access key ID and secret access key. Okay, see this problem. Access key ID, AWS access key ID. This is an environment variable. Okay, so use this an environment variable, and another one is called secret access key. And these are AWS secret access key. These are programming language agnostic. These won't change if it's Java or something else. Okay, these are the same environment variables for C#, same environment variables for Python or any programming language. So how do we set this one? Well, you can do that in Java. There's another line of code, system.set property. You have your key. This is your environment key, right? So key, and the value is whatever the value that you have it. Put one more guy, and AWS secret access key. Okay, so what's your AWS access key ID? Well, we stored that somewhere. This is my secret access key ID, and this is my secret access key. That's it, guys. You got your S3, and that's it. So this is how you are essentially providing your environment variables, through your programming language. Same thing with Python, C#, anything. So what I want you to note down here is that, oh, how come I'm not a Java developer, I may not be able to do it. Take it out from your head. There's nothing that's specific to Java other than this line of code here, pretty much. Okay, I want you to understand that. So you have this object reference called S3. Now you can do, if you want to create a bucket, you can create a bucket. Safely, let's try creating a bucket. Yeah, why not? What's another department? Finance department, HR department, let's say IT department, right? So IT department 2020, let's see. Okay. And using access key ID and secret access key, it has all the account details and everything, right? So pretty much that's it. If you want to create the bucket, of course, yeah, as it's returning a bucket itself. It's returning a bucket itself. So you can inspect the bucket if you want to. Otherwise, if you're done, pretty much, yeah, you should be able to create the bucket. Okay, nothing happened. Let's go check to S3. There you go, IT department 2020. You want to create one more? Sure. IT department 2021. Edit weight and refresh it. IT department 2021. Piece of cake, right? So you can get, this is to create the bucket. If you don't want to create the bucket, and let's say s3.get, by no means I'm, don't think that I knew this or anything. No, I'm just looking at it, what methods they are there. So that's all. Okay, I want to give you the impression that I don't know anything. S3 object here. Okay, this is the, see here, this get object. I know through my API, I told you HTTP get, right? It's a HTTP get object. I know all these files inside S3, they are called objects. So get object. So bucket name and the key. I know this is object key. This is the bucket name. Okay. So what does he give me as a return? Is S3 object. Huh? Okay. So looks like I can get an object using bucket name and the key. Okay. So let's take a look at HR bucket 2020. So this is the bucket name. This is the bucket name. And now bucket key. This is my file, right? One of my files, right? Owner, last modified, e tag, storage class, standard, Server-side encryption none. Size is 35 KB. This is key is your file name itself. Here, your bucket name / your object key. This is object key. So I'll give the object key. Okay, so what did I get it? S3 object, S3 object is the return type. Okay. I'll call this guy as HR users file. Okay, that's the HR users object. Let's call this guy as an object. I got my S3 object, sure. Now, what do I do after that? What do I do? Get bucket name, get key, get object content. Yes, I want the content. That's exactly what I want, right? S3 object input string, sure. So this guy is giving me what? S3 object input stream. Okay. S3 object input stream is another class from this library, right? S3 object. Do I know this before? Absolutely not. Okay. So you and I are exactly same. I want you to know that. You don't need any experience, anything. You just know some, your programming language, concepts, strong concepts. That's all it is. And you got your object, right? So this is your stream, guys. This is your stream. Okay, your contents are streamed. So probably, but I don't want it in a stream because I know my contents are ASCII here. So I want to get it from the stream to regular string. I want to convert that. Only there, probably you may want to Google it, but good thing here is that your AWS S3 SDK, they gave you a class called IOUtil. Okay, see this one? Interesting. This is the enum. Let's go take a look at it. Wow, it's an enum. That's pretty interesting way of designing it. Okay. IOUtils dot toString. See this one? There is a method called toString, and I'm giving my object input string. That's it. And then the return type must be string. String HR users content. That file content. Contents. And of course, it's saying that it's an unhandled exception. I don't want to handle it. I'll just rethrow it. Add throws in the exception. Not a big deal. And then once I get my string, I want to do a simple sysout. My file contents are that's all. It's a simple Java 101, right? Is there anything that I did here that's any fancier rather than Java 101, like first day of Java, pretty much? Is there anything that's nope? So that's why I'm saying you don't have to be a Java guy. Oh, it already got my file contents. This is a HR file, has all users. That's exactly what the contents are in that file anyway, right? It's that simple. So how about this? Let's change to next step training. I'll give my bucket name and object name. Object key is index.html. Run as Java application. Very good. See this? You got that whole HTML content here. My static website, welcome. That's it, guys. It's that easy to interact with S3 using your favorite programming language. It does not have to be Java. It does not have to be C#. It doesn't have to be anything. Okay. So using your SDK, you can, this is exactly how, as an architect, or even as a developer, as an architect, this is how you are going to propose your solution, and your developers are going to do it exactly this way. So let's say you're building a web application for your, for your consumers, right? In your bank. So you are creating the content, you're creating your PDF, and you throw in there. You created a bucket itself. You can do a S3 simple put. So if you don't know what you're doing, rather than get object, you do a .s3 put object. There you go. Actually, put object. Once you get the object complete put object request, put it out there. Okay, this is one way of doing it. Or object key, and if you have a file locally, right, locally to your temp file, use the second method, your bucket name, your object key, and your file content. Make sense? Or see this one, the third one is more easier. If you happen to have it in memory, I'll comment this guy. So I'll say my bucket name is my HR bucket. So I'm putting an object now. So let's go to HR bucket 2020. HR bucket 2020, that's my bucket name. And my key, object key, meaning it's file name. So new file name, my contents. I'm putting my contents here itself, okay? So my contents are new, let's say, new benefits document. New benefits are here. Applicable from some text, applicable from June 1st, 2020. That's it. Guys, putting an object, you are creating an object. So by the way, when you create an object, you use a HTTP put for this, okay? That's it. Now refresh your page. You can see a new file there. New file name, this is the file. And of course, the contents are the access denied. So let's do, obviously, it's access denied. If you want to go to your REST endpoint, use your access key ID and this one, and you can get the content here. New benefits are here, applicable from June 1st, 2020. This is exactly what programmatically when you created a new object, these are the object contents, right? This is your object key, and this is your bucket name. Can it be any simpler than that? It's that simple. We don't need to make it complicated. So Amazon makes it that simple, guys. It's just they just put a nice wrapper around all the under the hood stuff. They'll create a nice interfaces, nice wrapper to make your life easy. It's that easy to create your objects. It's that easy to get the objects. You can start using it from your application. You don't need to use command line AWS Management Console. You can directly use your SDK, favorite programming language, go bonkers with it. It's just, sky is the limit. Any questions?
Hey Venkat, I have a question on the access key and secret key. Mm-hmm. So let's say if I'm implementing a web application, so if I don't want to expose those access key or secret key anywhere, so how do I do that? Like, is there any other way, other than access key or secret key from the SDK side, or is that the only way we can do it?
That's the only way. How are you guys doing with your database username and password? What's the strategy to do your database username and password? Just curiosity.
Okay, so I think we put it in some INI file.
Yep. So you can put it in your INI file, and I'm not, by no means I'm saying that's the best way, but or as part of your Jenkins, you don't have to put it. One simple way is put it in your properties file or YAML file and externalize it so that your developers don't know about it. That's one way. The other way is, you can use this HashiCorp Vault. So there is there are some configuration mechanisms out there. One of them is called HashiCorp Vault. So you can store all of your secrets within a vault, and then at the time of deployment, your Jenkins will talk to the vault, get those properties, and put them, or put it at the server level and then put -d, meaning your JVM arguments. You can do it as JVM arguments, or your code can dynamically fetch from somewhere else. Put it in another S3 bucket. Okay, put all of your contents in another secure location somewhere. Okay, and you manage that security of that file or that bucket very, very tightly, and then you program as part of your bootstrapping procedure. Okay, even your Spring Boot or any other application, your C# bootstrapping process, you go out, get that system access key ID and secret access key, both of them, and pass it on to your programming, to your engine, to your JVM. Does it make sense? So you have several strategies. It's the same strategy. Again, how are you managing your database username and passwords? It's the exact same. There's no difference.
Yeah, thanks, Venkat.
Yep. That's fantastic, guys. So what do you guys think? And now it's all up to you, meaning I want you to do it. So let me stop the recording. So it's a good recording by itself. So let me stop it.